in Africa, in Europe, in North and South America, and the Caribbean. So we are here still dealing with that issue of the cohesiveness of the African society to everyone's satisfaction. And what the issue is today that we're dealing with, it is directly concerning the marijuana hemp march, which we had about approximately 2 weeks ago. And we're here to deal with how it turned out, etc., etc., etc. I have with me here in the studio 4 other guests, and that's what we're going to be doing tonight, dealing with basically the march which took place just 2 weeks ago, because we haven't really dealt with it publicly on any television forum. So without further ado, a couple of my guests, at least 3 of my guests were here before, which was the night before the march. And we just one more addition here, right? Who is a person who was supposed to make a presentation at the rally after the march. But, you know, we had a little glitch where that part was concerned, and we didn't make the presentation as we had intended, you know? You know, everything has some little glitch, right, that you have to deal with. But fortunately, in my opinion, and we'll get the opinion of others, we'll try to even open the lines to get a couple of opinions on other persons' opinions of the march. But as far as I am concerned, it was a very successful march, except just for that little glitch at the end, where we had a little problems with the PA system. So without further ado, here are my guests, starting from my immediate right. I have here Ras Iram Blackman, who was here previously, for those who saw the program. And on my furthest right, I have Mr. Dorga of Alisi Rice Production, who is part of the Hemp Association, and is a person who didn't get to present his statement at the rally. And on my left, I have here Ras Lyons, who was here previously, and he also didn't get to make his presentation, so that's why I brought him on here again. And as an elder in the African, in the Rastafari community, deserves to be giving his voice to what's going on in Guyana concerning the African people, because he's been from that time to this time. And then I have on my farthest left, Brother Bengai Chugs, who was also here previously on the program the night before the march. So, first of all, if the 2 brothers who want to make any presentation that they didn't get to make then, they can go ahead with the Lions, you know, and Brother Dorgo. Or we can go into discussion and you make a presentation or your opinions along the way. Was there anything you had to see out there that you didn't get to see? you know, and you would like to really present, you can go ahead and make that presentation.
Well, the name is Jalayon. Welcome all Rasta and all brothers and sisters that know the faith. What really happened in the parade was glorious. It never happened before, I should say, because I've been around. Even in Jamaica, the brothers and sisters met brutality when they tried to exercise their rights. But now that it's happening, because this is the time, a consciousness. What we see on the parade, we must give thanks to the establishment to let something like that go. You know that a lot of school fees and bad-mouthed people that feel that marijuana is drugs. But marijuana is a herb planted by the Creator, leave there for I and I uses in this time. How marijuana became illegal? Because it was legal. I know that, because I born around the time. It became illegal after the war. After the war, the American Khazar, Joe Khazar, went to England Parliament and tell them to discriminate against this marijuana because it gives people a communist tendency. I know what you mean.
A communist tendency.
But they did that, right?
Yes.
And it was outlawed in the West Indies, the Caribbean. Because it was legal here, because you remember the Kwekwe song, Ganja money, Ganja money, you give me a shilling, let me buy me ganja. It was a rich man thing. They get the shilling and they buy the ganja. The poor man used to grow it. And it was grown mostly in Enmore, because it's the indentured workers that brought the herbs on a trip from India to the Caribbean, and they laid it everywhere.
Jamaica also.
Well, they was the most poor to establish it, but it was grown just as much
True.
right through the East Coast. So what happened? The constables at the estate started to uproot it, the marijuana fields. In every village, Buxton.
And the instructions.
That's right, that don't let this grow any, to cut out this marijuana growing. So because Enmore was the main port, because in Enmore, this is where they grow the marijuana, this is where all the tradesmen, them that know how to make shoes, clothing, because marijuana was used for everything. Because the poor people couldn't buy nothing from Bokers and Faggoties and them stuff. They buy everything. I know my father was a seaman, and he used to go there and buy canvas. That's how we get the word cannabis. So he take I up there one time, but I always used to wonder, from the road, we take a long walk into the village, then he put me on the house, and then he come back and I realize it's canvas he didn't buy when I get older. So everything used to be made at Enmore because it was really
Now continue. Canvas was essential to the fishing industry.
Yeah, you couldn't get a fishing boat without sail.
Right.
They used to make anything in England and send for nobody.
Right.
That was locally made.
Yeah.
See? Shoes. I forgot to.
Yeah.
It's canvas shoes.
Yeah.
Shirts, bags. You know what I mean? I have some bags at my house that is made of canvas. So there's where everybody used to go. So after they started to approve the plant, the people in the schools getting mad. And through and more the Indian village, they had more Indian than anybody else. So they start to make disturbances because the living gone. They can't make nothing no more. Because as they planted, the council president mash it up. So what happened? They decide to write one day, this is how we get here more uprising. And they say sugar. But sugar, let me check sugar at the time of the war, of course. They didn't strike him for better wages. They didn't strike for medical or none of the things that labor unions fight for. They was fighting for the vexation, and they can't do nothing else.
And it become just as if it was a sugar issue.
Yes.
The problem is the people's livelihood.
It's a livelihood.
Right.
The people riot over the marijuana, destruction of the plant.
We got to get some of our historians, because they have a lot of records due to the reparation movement they're going into about, you know, the situation with African people right through that same time included and even further back. So they have to got records, but they ain't looking for that, but they must have records, British records, about exactly what transpired.
About 83, an Indian man had a kind of variety store right at Regent and Alexander Street. And you see Rasta come, show me the marijuana deal and everything, but I didn't pay much heed to it, otherwise I would have got it now. You know, but I know that a long time.
Yeah, but he said, you want to show you?
Yeah.
What?
He did show it.
Marijuana and the story.
Oh, it was in a paper or something?
A little leaflet.
He had.
Yeah.
I got it out because I was just thinking that I'm going to do the research in the archives, because they have old newspaper. Because I found a newspaper 1937 when Marcus Garvey visited here. So, and that is even before when you talking about, which is 19...
I'm talking about after the war.
Right, which is after 45.
Right.
And they got people of 1937, right, when Marcus Garvey visited here, right? Good. So, it's supposed to be in the archives there, where you could go and look at the papers around that time and find it. Hopefully they got those papers there, you know, because they're being a little damaged and stuff.
So, this is how marijuana get banned from this country and through the Caribbean, right? They put pressure on it.
And stigmas.
That's right, they make movies that you smoke and you're running mad. No herbs, the creator never make herbs to kill nobody. Every herb have its use.
I saw a movie in a DVD that is on marijuana. And it's a black and white movie that they made, a short little film.
It's a advertisement.
And it had, right, that's how they got it sold. And in it even said the name marijuana, which is really Maria Juana, was because they used the Mexicans to get it banned. You know, when Mexicans gonna be poor, the poor Mexicans, and you know how poor class of people act at different level of society, drink and whatever, and got certain basics now that is not courteous or whatever. So that's what they had said. They use it that Mexicans smoked it, used it. That's why they behave the way they are. They ain't say nothing about poverty. It's that Mexicans use this substance. And that's how it get the name Maria Juana, which comes to marijuana, right? And they call it now Mary Jane, all of that, right? And they showed a little clip, and it had this man smoking it, this white guy, and then he ended up chopping up his own family.
Many
and then,
movies.
And next part in the little movie, they show you, good, they show you a white girl smoking her, young. And then she just started like, and they run off and do some plunge through a window.
Well, they try to show it in a negative way.
Right, but now continue. That's why when I started to use marijuana, my mom used to tell me, And I used to get vexed. I wonder what's trouble she telling me. You saw you red? You can jump through window. Without no explanation, she, I guess that's what they show her, but this is what she tell me. And I, what kind of trouble is she telling me really? You know? To myself when I know thing, you know, but I remember my mom told me that. Who was you? You can jump through window.
Babylon system,
So,
deceitful.
continue.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mom never showed me because she was a revolutionary. She's a Marcus Starkey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I grew up knowing King Selassie and the world.
Mm-hmm.
So them Christianity ways couldn't fool her.
My mom told me her grandmother used to talk about Selassie. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was the message.
All
Look
over
to
the world
Africa,
where
look to
African
Africa,
people
for
are.
a king
Yeah.
has risen. You know what I mean? And we find out what happened. But the marijuana came from India. India is where it came from.
Yeah, that's correct.
It was, when I was growing up, not Ganges, they used to call it the Ganja River.
Mm-hmm.
Why the river Ganges now have so much of cure? Because of the marijuana leaves that reach itself from the mountains and purify the water. You can't get purified water unless you get something. Water is water. You know what I mean? And people is spit, cook, wash, do everything in the river, but still got it healing powers. This is why you see millions of people go in the river to take a bath and blessing and drink it and everything.
All right. All right, like, I want give them a little chance. So, Brother Dogo, you could go ahead and
Well, first of all,
introduce yourself to.
thank you for inviting me and letting me in your culture. Everybody knows we have a multicultural society, and you started talking about cohesion. If we want cohesion, is my sincere opinion, the first thing we have to do is show respect for each other culture. And if we don't do that, we're never going to have the cohesion we're looking for. Now, several times it's mentioned the name ganja. I would prefer to go back to that original name. At the presentation in UG, I show a scientific research where they show that it started somewhere in that area from the Ganges, where Ganges came from, and it spread out to the African nations. As you know, South India has a great influence from Africa.
True.
Yeah.
So
True.
it went through that, then through Mexico it went to America. How did it get into the Caribbean? The slaves came with nothing. They were beaten, shackled. They could take nothing with them. So they couldn't take their things with them. The indentured laborers were allowed to take some of their foodstuff and so forth. And they took the herb which would give them medicines. They would use it for leisure and so forth. And when they came, the African descendant recognized it again. And they join, and you see, let the world know, let Guyana know that history only is written by the winners. And in that time, it was the colonialists who did that. Because nowhere, as you know, I'm half Surinamese, half Guyanese, nowhere it's written that Durga was killed because he and his brother Kojo fought for better prices. And Kojo went on a rampage for his brother Durga. Nowhere it's written. Well, they will be rewriting that history now.
They never show that kind of unity.
They never show that, because the fate was the same. You were more or less a slave. The one who came with stories that they were coming to the nirvana, which it wasn't so. You were beaten. You had to work, and especially when they start tell us, be careful for the black man because he's your enemy. You understand? And telling the black people, you see those coolies we brought, we don't need you anymore. So we need to be realistic. We don't want to go back. We don't
Honest.
Yeah, but we have to be honest, understand it, and we go forward. You can't change the past.
No way.
Now coming back to your march from Buxton to to square off the revolution, I think was a fantastic thing. I've been in it, so I've seen it. Upcoming is 420. You know that in the whole world, the 20th of April.
Yeah, World Marijuana Day.
Yeah, people
World.
celebrate that.
Yeah.
Now coming to the Guyana situation is that it every time aches me to see that people, for a little bit of ganja, they're being jailed. What I don't understand is that for instance, we just had a CARICOM delegation who in
Yes.
Miriam Academy had a whole bulahao of they have to research how it works and how it doesn't work and so forth. And I explained to them, why do you want to invent the wheel? If you look at Holland, what he has done with 60% of the jails empty. Finally, Jamaica got there.
Finally.
You understand? So what are you researching? What did you come to do here?
And other CARICOM countries are also getting there.
Yes.
About 4 or 5 of them
South
already
Africa
made
just
changes.
the other
Yeah. Today, anybody who says that marijuana is addictive
It's
is
a liar.
is uneducated, because
Yeah.
with social media you can go and see. In America, there's no credible case where pure marijuana has sent people wacko or any of that. Marijuana calms you down. It's the substance of leisure of my ancestors, your ancestors. The problem is that if you have that, every man, like in Holland, can have 2 trees in his house for his own consumption. And it reduces the uses of alcohol. But alcohol is the industrial thing which is controlled by big business. You understand? Look at us.
And
I'm not
tobacco.
criticizing because I don't want the sugar industry to go down. But we're at a point where we're going to start up an estate just to produce molasses to make more rum. And in America, you can go online, you can see it. More than 450,000 people last year died because of alcohol addiction.
I just want to interject a bit.
Yeah.
You can see the evidence is there. We marched from Buxton, almost 13 miles, 12 to 13 miles.
Mhm.
Anyone was drinking alcohol on that march, they couldn't make it. There will be war along the road, confusion, and everything.
No, but
It's showing the
you have
difference.
to understand, over decades, this negative propaganda, the stigmatization of marijuana, of the Rastafarians. I was fortunate that I was doing a consultancy for the Dutch government in Jamaica, and I learned to know the Rastafarian faith. And I'm telling everybody that don't be a fool. Don't look uneducated. The Rastafarian community, the real Rastafarian community, is what I compare with when I went to India to search for where did this thing come from. And I meet the communities which they call the sadhus and the guys who meditate and live by themselves because they devoted their life in a different way. So this herb is, if you hear what I push for regularization of marijuana just to ease it off, and complete legalization of hemp. Again, if anybody today say hemp is equivalent to marijuana, you're really a dumb person, because marijuana has the THC in it, which give you what they call the euphoria if you overuse it, which hemp has none. Hemp is an industrial product, and people were producing both of it. But research today show that the reason why these two plants were stigmatized and criminalized is for one simple reason: an ordinary man can make a living with it without an industry attached to it. My elder brother here explained it very well. They would make the sales from hemp. They would have, if you have a headache, you smoke a spliff. And by the way, I was educated in Holland. Every student would have his spliff. They do it here today. Marijuana production in Guyana, from what I hear and see, is thriving. The industry never left Guyana. It's there. And when people are saying, oh, marijuana, that's a Rastafarian thing, let me tell Guyana, then you really don't know where the mass production is. Because the mass production comes from other cultures. And I won't name it here because I don't want to get into trouble. So here is it where people can make a living for themselves. They are being frustrated. While Canada is producing over 500 million in hemp products, has regularized marijuana, in America, state after state after state is doing it. In 1969, in a single United Nations convention, hemp was taken off the narcotic heading. In 1971, Guyana signed on to that convention. And we came back. They came back, changed the law, but apparently at that time they didn't know that sativa L is hemp. So it stayed in there. That's all they have to remove. And then we can have every small community, every person who have a backyard, don't need a government anymore. They can produce for themselves, live by themselves, and we will completely eradicate poverty. And we can do it. Between 88 and 92, we did it with rice, and rice became prosperous. Look at all over the place.
But
So,
no, Coach, but the thing is, how can you still be jailing people when you hear the news, international news, California legalized for including recreational? Now, people here talking about what hemp would do to, or marijuana would do to the country, right, in their ignorance. But they go in California, they go in America, they go in Brooklyn, they're going where the most marijuana in the world goes.
well,
Not
you see-
marijuana alone, cocaine,
Yeah.
heroin. But they ain't got no problem going and live there.
No, well, you see, what you have to understand
Hypocrites.
is that the judges have to execute the law. The police have to execute the law. So the problem is with the legislation.
Exactly.
So while I know what was promised to you before the election, and unfortunately it's not happening, I don't know why. But we have Mr. Carrington who would lead that into Parliament, but apparently it went dead. I hope one of these days it can be revived. Now you have to understand how bad it gets into Guyana. I am aware of one person whose child has epilepsy. And because she couldn't pay for the drugs anymore, those chemical pills, one person tell him, why don't you make marijuana tea?
You gotta suffer.
And it helped the child. Now she's being blackmailed not to be put in jail, and every time when these persons come, she has to dish out money. So here is it. I know of several cases now where people are diagnosed with breast cancer, skin cancer. And what do? They quickly look for a visa, go to Canada, because there they can get a natural herb to help heal them. Everybody can research it. If you have breast cancer, instead of taking chemotherapy, everybody uses marijuana, whether it's the oils or you smoke a spliff or whatever, and all the cases known, it sends it into remission so you can avoid the chemotherapy. But you have to understand, it's big business we're dealing with. One is the ordinary man can do a lot of things affordable. If he does that, big business will be hurt.
But-
And
but
big
now
business
continue.
control politics.
Now, Coach, let me say this though. They even use an excuse that, what's the sense of legalizing? The big business people are going to take it over. What are you talking about? Now, the big business people are going to control the oil. The big business people controlling the gold in Guyana. They're the biggest dealer. The big business people controlling the bauxite. The big business people controlling the TVs that come in the country. But a small man can still have a TV, a little TV stand. The big business people, GT and Digital, controlling the phones. But a small person can still have, they got small places selling telephone, selling phones. So regardless of if the big business take it over, It's just like drinks. They got the big drinks companies importing drinks from Trinidad and where else. But they still got small men selling bad drinks. So stop. It is just total. Every reasoning is nonsense, including about taking over the business. There is always space for everyone. Okay, the big man will make the most money, but the small man gonna make a okay living too.
So
they can put legislation in place where say everyone have an equal play on the field.
Exactly, you can only grow so much.
You can, only
you
grow
can do
so
that.
much. And everyone,
and
especially
be fair.
I would agitate, especially
Yes.
for the people who have suffered the blunt.
Yes. Yes, it's
blunt
just like house lot. You can't be given 40 house lots for a man to build things to people for him to sell, and this man could only get one. Give away one to everyone.
I also want to emphasize that this nonsense of that marijuana is addictive and it will destroy the community and so forth is real nonsense, and I will tell you why. And I compare it to those countries which have regularized it. Take for instance Holland.
Yeah.
Holland, 60% of the jails are empty now. They're using them for bed and breakfast and all kind of other things. They also found out that because everybody can now have their own herb, and people research it and they know how, instead of when you have a headache or taking an aspirin, you can either use the CBD oils or the CBD oils of hemp, or you can use marijuana extract or whatever. You understand? They found out that the problem was not the marijuana. The problem was the criminal trade. So what do people do? If you're not getting addictive, you can grow the thing yourself. How will the criminal trade get you as a customer? So they lace the marijuana with some addictive thing to get you there. And the proof is now given because marijuana is now freely available. So what happens now? They produce ecstasy. Holland is the largest producer of ecstasy. You know, in America now they have another thing called flakka. So
that's the gangs who are doing that.
So it is the criminal gangs which are doing it. So please keep marijuana out of it. Keep ganja out of it. It's a God-given herb. My ancestors use it. My grandmother was smoking. I don't know what she was smoking, but she was growing it herself. You understand? And it landed here from India, and the Africans connected back with it because they came with nothing.
Okay, our time is going a little bit. Operator, is it possible to get the hour? I could get a little more time. Okay? All right, thanks. All right, so I want to give these two other brothers a little chance. I know Mr. Blackman hasn't said anything so far, so and to make them statement to what you want to talk about. Whether it's the issue that came up, you know.
Yeah, I want to say a special good night to all the viewers out there, and most of all, I want to compliment all those persons who participated in the march on the 26th. You know, we are the organizers out there, and we knew that the community was experiencing quite a lot of problems. And so we thought, you know, that the organizers, myself, my brother, and I must let you know that there have been some young people who were involved in the planning of this activity, very young people. Tamar Roberts, and the guy, Jai Roberts. These are young people. And what I find is that we need to work with young people.
Definitely.
In the Rastafari community.
All around Guyana, really.
They have so much ideas. And I think they may have helped us to garner that momentum. That momentum.
Yeah, they were enthusiastic.
Yeah, you know.
Real enthusiastic.
And when we went out there, our main aim was to bring to the attention of the government the suffering of the Rastafarian community, that has been caused through this law that has been so discriminative. This law that I sometimes I call it a wicked law, because it has contributed significantly to the vulnerability of our communities. It
Of
has
the whole
destroyed.
society. When you see what happened in the jail and all of that.
It has destroyed families.
It overcrowded.
It has placed children on the streets. It has created illiteracy. Before this law really became so effective, the literacy rate in Guyana was on high. We were rated among the best in the Caribbean.
True.
Even though the ganja was born in and all kind of thing, and the people born in it in pipe. Because I remember not too long ago, we were talking to this lady, and she said that they have, our father had a rum shop. And when the big men come in there, they come with a pipe in which they put their
called
ganja.
chilam.
Yeah, chilam. They come with a pipe. So she said to me, I don't know what stupidness them little boy get now, a roll up some little fine thing. You know?
That's called a spliff.
Yeah, that spliff, that stupidness. Them man used to get this thing in big cup. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that people
When you
out
get
there,
locked up for that pipe now,
That's the
if you
stigma.
rasta and all of that now, you know.
if you
Because we
understand-
used to have pipes in the early days.
But you can have a bottle of rum and walk with it.
yeah. But what I want to say also, you know, as the time keep moving with us, is that this afternoon, this day, we had a meeting at Paradise on the east coast of Demerara. Our backlands that were stolen by the colonial masters, Bokas and you know, and then it was turned over to Gaisuko. The people of Bachelor's Adventure met this afternoon, and they are going to make moves to get back their land, because the land belongs to us. I brought it to the attention of the president. I was at the commission for lands, and I raised it there again. I understand and more is going to be privatized. They're looking for people to buy the land, and buy the factory and stuff, but we would like to get our land. We cannot be operating in a green state and doesn't have land to do agriculture. We are the only, Bachelor's Adventure Paradise are the only villages on the East Coast that doesn't have a backland. And it isn't a case that we didn't have a backland. We were given a backland. We were granted that because, remember, over 200 and odd of us were killed in 1823 defending.
Bachelor's Adventure, that's where the,
You know,
the
defend-
1823 rebellion happened.
Took
For
place.
those who heard about it and did not know.
So the people in Bachelor's Adventure are not taking it lightly. We would like it. We have been in poverty from the time those lands were taken from us. We have experienced poverty because we have had to depend on government to give us a job here or a contractor to give you a job there. It's not like in those other communities where you could go into your backlands and farm and be self-sufficient and that kind of thing. And what is happening, what is more terrible now, is that it's an expanding housing community. You're bringing more people to live in these places, and you know what I'm saying. So we need our lands.
There
The
is a
people
lot
are-
of correction of
Yeah.
things that the colonial occupation has done to the country and to the people. This is why we keep chanting reparations, you know. And it don't mean reparations just some money. It's many things need repairing, right? The people's real culture that they had before. So I'm glad that we're having this meeting with the Minister of Culture, which is on the 15th, right, for culture and social cohesion, on the 15th. That is arranged for with the Rastafarian community, or at least a section of the Rastafarian community, or representatives, put it that way, of the Rastafarian community.
I want to
Right.
make this point very clear, that we are here to highlight issues that affect us as a community, right? That march was to highlight those issues. We are not putting ourselves into a confrontation with the government.
True.
We are supporting the government program wherever it's necessary. We give support. But if we are receiving the worst end of the stick, then we have to stand up and say that this
much.
is wrong.
Too much.
We must not be fearful to defend what is right.
And
You
the
know?
thing about it, this is going on all around. It's not in Guyana. It's all around the Caribbean and where the communities are. You know, where government and adjustments have already been made in Belize, in Bahamas, in Antigua, Barbuda, in St. Vincent, you know. And well, you don't talk about American states. So many states have decriminalized, right? And other Canada and other parts of the world spoke about the Dutch and all of that. So it is not a confrontation. It is a realization of wrong being done to people. Well, now, for example, look at Jamaica. I didn't even call that. Now, my own African brother came in the same ship with me. In Jamaica, he can have 5 plants in his yard. But me, his brother, who get shipped down to this part, can't have the same thing in this modern time. We're supposed to open the lines. I just want to say something quickly. And this is to someone who's supposed to be watching, because I lost their number when I lost my phone. And really, they're in Antigua. This is a Rasta sister named Sissy. So if she did, I did tell her that I do have this program, but I haven't spoken to her a while. It's when her birth anniversary come around, then we call one another, right? So her birthday is the 10th, which is yesterday, right? And I was trying to get a number or find a number somewhere, but I couldn't due to I lost my phone. So if she's watching, or anybody in Antigua or Bermuda, where she's originally from, could tell Sissy, Ruth Tyro Bascom, right, that she's being given a hail, right? Okay. And one other point. I want everyone to know this is the brother who had the problem with the vehicle. This is Jah Lyons. Jah Lyons has hit 70. Now, he got to be walking around when he has his vehicle on the wharf, and he should be having a chauffeur driving him around. He got to be walking around, and this is wrong, and he's a returning citizen who did so much for Guyana before. So I hope someone in the ministry, right, that deals with this returning citizens and duty-free thing in the government will have little mercy and compassion on Mr. Jah Lyons, you know? Because the issue, I mentioned it on a program before, I just come my head and needed to remind of it. So, Brother Chubbs, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, greetings.
You see
to all.
what you were saying.
Greetings to
Oh,
all
you're
viewers
showing me
and
the phone.
listeners.
Yeah.
This night, I'm going to be short.
Yeah,
I
you
want
wanted
to give
take a
thanks
couple
to
of
all
cards, so-
who did make it out to the march. It was a grand march. Give thanks for the behavior pattern, you know, everything was in harmony, collective. Only at the end we had a little ups and downs. And calling everyone to be vigilant, you know, because 420 is around the corner,
And
World
Unified.
Marijuana Day,
Yeah.
20th of April, and the Tiakusiri and Ivana of the Naibindi will be planning a walk and a day of togetherness. The venue soon to be heard.
We'll be having a walk.
Yeah,
okay.
walk.
Okay, well, we'll have to seek,
Venue and
yeah.
and location or routes
And route,
will be
etc.
soon be
Yeah.
established. But we calling all supporters on board.
To look
That-
out for that.
Yeah,
The
and
20th of April.
and focus
Right.
on the
World
main
Hemp
issue
Day,
because it's
Marijuana
the
Day.
World Marijuana or Ganja Day, MD,
To free the world back
It's-
to a sense of peace
and it's been
harmony.
sanctioned by the
United
WHO
Nations,
and
right?
the United Nations. So some stop the stigma against marijuana. That's what we call them for.
All right. I see like we getting calls. Greetings.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am perturbed to learn that the situation with the gentleman and his vehicle on the wharf is still not being resolved, because this is something I heard about on Voice of the People Channel 6. Anyway, I trust that that will be put in, be attended to too. Concerning the marijuana, now the Rastafarian community, like all the other religious groups, have a constitutional right to practice their belief, and whatever substances are necessary for them to practice what they believe in should not be illegal.
Unless it causes a problem, which hasn't
Having
been
said
shown.
that, though, I'm wondering what advice the members of the community will be giving to those in authority in relation to persons who would want to take advantage on the fact that, well, I'm free now to smoke. Because you'd find persons smoking anywhere and everywhere. If this herb is such a holy herb,
Operator, you can keep
something that they
speaking.
use
Operator,
for religious needs, right?
could you take off camera from
Hello?
Mr. Lyons and myself? Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yes. The herb is a holy herb to the Rastafarian community, and they would use it maybe in times of worship or however they use it. But there are many persons who would just want to smoke for the sake of smoking. Now, you want to enjoy your rights. What about the rights of those persons who would find the smoke offensive and talking about public? This is my concern. I am not against the fact that the Rastafarians believe this is a holy herb, this is what they will want to use in their communication with Jah. But what I'm concerned about is those who will want to just smoke for the sake of smoking any and everywhere. Instead of doing it in their homes, it will be done in public. And where there is public, there will be persons who will be affected by it. Those persons' rights will be trampled on. Thank you.
Okay, let me give a display of how mankind has evolved. The marijuana was criminalized, alcohol was not. In the meantime, you cannot consume alcohol in public places. You have to consume it in a bar. You can even get arrested if you have a beer which you're drinking in your car. So we have evolved. Take, for instance, in Holland and many other places. In Holland, you can only smoke the marijuana in a cafe. But if you don't put these legislations in place, people don't know what they're about. They smoke it because there's a lot of people who know that alcohol is addictive. It will damage your liver, will kill you in the end. And a lot of people, they love to have a little relaxation and will smoke a spliff. But just like everything used in excess will give you problems. So your concern of that people will start to show lawlessness, no, it won't happen, because when you have regularized this, and please pay attention to what I say, regularize it, it means that you have put those systems in place. So people know where and when they can do whatever they do. You understand? Just like we have done it with tobacco, you can't smoke in public places anymore. You understand?
I'm
The same
back.
will go. The same will go for marijuana. So again, I'm saying that let us have respect for everybody's
Just hold on,
culture.
caller.
Everybody's culture. Let us, just like how we respect that the Western world uses and abuses alcohol, and we have adopted to it. It's killing
You there?
our people, especially the Indian community. The amount
Yeah.
of rum suckers, including in some political parties, is a disgrace. You understand? So please don't be afraid. When you regularize it, you put those systems in place.
True.
You there,
That's
caller?
what Jamaica did.
Yeah.
Hello?
Jamaica amendment law for the Dangerous Drug Act.
Hello?
They put those systems in
Hello?
place. You could be taxed.
Greetings.
Yeah. So there's a lot of more we have to say.
Yeah,
Greetings.
And as we're waiting to the glitch to have fixed, 420 is an important day,
Yeah.
and I'm calling to everybody to research the day. Why did that day came about? Last year, the Hemp Association, because we would never get at that time a license for a marijuana march. That is why I'm so happy with this march from Buxton
Greetings.
to Square of the Revolution, showing that this is a peaceful thing.
Yes.
And
Go ahead.
yes, sir. I am a marijuana smoker, right? I do burn marijuana, and decriminalizing it and regulating it is very important. Now, smoking is dangerous to your health. Despite of what, smoking is dangerous to your health. So we would like to get the chance to experiment and get the use of herb in some other form.
True.
We don't boil it, we don't smoke it. We don't
Jamaicans
eat it.
bringing steaming.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
Yeah.
ancient from Ethiopia.
Definitely.
In Ethiopia,
Yeah.
they do steam it.
They got this whole thing about marijuana. But if you look in the depressed communities, like in the ghettos of all the countries, people living to see 80, 70 watch the forest there, you know what I mean? Marijuana, it's harmful in a certain way. Although smoke is dangerous to your health. They got people smoking marijuana since a very tender age, and they're very old, they get cancer. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying, I'm on board. If the government could at least, we need it. They need to come on board because marijuana is already there and doing exactly what it has to do.
The African society definitely needs it, rather than be drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes.
I definitely support that. But the government and all these people need to come on board with the marijuana trade because it ain't waiting on them, you know.
You know what's going ahead in the world?
So even
The
if
world
they
is
want to
flying.
legalize, they want to decriminalize, they want to regularize, marijuana is still going on.
Yeah.
But they got to come on board. I don't say that I don't mean that we got to go with them and really, they got to come on board with us because marijuana is from Asian and you don't know, they can't stop it. So
No
far,
one
I want
can.
to let you know that at least I'll keep it up and I will be in the
Alright.
march again. All right, just focus.
Yeah, the 20th of April.
I will be there, son. Yeah, just focus. Yeah, I know from Beirut. Yeah, pick up yourself, brother. Yeah,
Yes.
just keep fighting.
Yeah.
All right,
Give
thank you.
thanks. Bless,
All right,
bless.
may I add to that?
Yes,
May I add to that
yes.
All right.
Yes, brother.
Yeah.
that you know it's not that easy because
Hold on. Your volume a little high.
Yeah.
Hold 1 second, but you got to turn on your volume.
yes, because
Your volume.
because you have to understand that regularizing marijuana will be a direct hit to the alcohol industry.
True, true.
And the alcohol industry is big business. Now let me tell you what is happening in the world. Philip Morris is the world's largest tobacco
buying out
company.
land.
They have just given $50 million to Israeli university for one simple purpose: if they can isolate the gen, which has all these herbal values, so they can produce it chemically. What are we waiting for? And I want to warn for one thing. I was in a IDB meeting, which they use people as decor to justify a
caller?
$16 million
Yeah, right here.
dollar.
All right, just 1 second.
$16 million US dollar loan. And the agriculture specialists had the audacity to tell us, which is an insult to our intelligence, when we bring to the forefront that have you considered hemp? This professional of the IDB telling me that she doesn't know what hemp is, while the country she come from is making furore in hemp. So I want to tell you that it's a bigger ghost we're dealing with.
Yeah. Our time running down. Yes, caller, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to the next panel. Yeah,
We ain't got much time. Sorry about that.
What is bothering me in this country? Most of these politicians in this country, they went to universities abroad. And so much of marijuana is being smoked in these universities abroad. So much of marijuana is being smoked in these, even cocaine, heroin, you name it.
Christopher Ram said it publicly that he used it. I saw him on a program where you were talking about it.
That's so correct. And why is it our politicians who are so clever still cannot make rules on this marijuana and have to continue in the path of the colonialists? It's the white man making rules against marijuana, not black people, not East Indian people.
Exactly. Why you gotta follow them all the time to destruction?
Why can't they make laws that govern or let marijuana be free? Why was marijuana supposed to have no laws in it?
No, it never was. Thank you very much.
And then, okay, go on.
Yeah, I know, Lions will coming down to the last couple of minutes, so...
Yeah, I was watching...
Call you there? Go ahead.
I was watching television the other day.
Yeah.
And
Call
they
you
were
there?
showing a marijuana documentary. These people, if they look at it, they feel shameful for fight marijuana.
Caller?
It is explain all the cures, the countries, the things. It's over 22,000 industrialized items you could make out of the plant, because the marijuana plant roots is the most fibrous roots in the world. It makes this chair, it makes everything.
Yeah, that's
and
the
that
hemp
is
version.
industrialized. I ain't talking about medical. Thousands of way of medical. Pastries, you make anything with
So
it.
like you said, the people before used to be making the canvas. That's where your father been to get the canvas. That's how they made money. They make rope, they make canvas.
It's very good to juice fresh marijuana.
And it makes paper. It makes paper.
Juice it in the morning.
Yeah.
So you gotta got your trees in your yard so that you can wake up and juice fresh
Make
marijuana.
sure you get
juice.
healthy. Yeah.
I mean,
Health is the most important
It doesn't get you high. Fresh marijuana doesn't
And
get you high.
the best going thing today in the world is the vaporizer.
What is it that
Yeah.
we call
I like the steam though.
People
Yeah,
feel that
The ancient
vaporizer.
way.
Vaporizer.
Yeah.
once feel that I is like being drunk. That's not it. When we say I, we go to a higher level in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We think more of things that we must not do.
Yeah.
You see, it carry to a higher level.
Yeah.
We call it dimension.
It doesn't make you loose.
And
You
speaking
know,
of
it doesn't
addiction,
make you
I
groggy.
stopped smoking marijuana
It doesn't
sometimes
make
for
you
3 years, 2
non-functional.
years, whenever I need to
Yeah.
start burning. I feel
Because it's not
and,
addictive.
yeah. And you know, I
Our
will
time
still-
almost ends, so we just got about half a minute. So anything anyone want to add, you know.
Yeah, I want to call for 420, which is the 20th of April. Please research it. We have social media.
Yeah,
Go
go and
online,
see about
see
it.
what it is about.
Yeah,
and,
World Marijuana
and see
Day.
the light. See the light. You understand?
Yeah,
We can't
yeah.
be left behind.
Yeah.
Hemp is an
We're
industrial
lacking in
product,
science.
and marijuana is good for medical and culture reasons. Let us be on the forefront of doing things, and don't let us continuously be followers. You know, we
Let's-
enrich with knowledge ourselves.
Let us educate ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop the stigma.
Thanks again to all who supported the march. Thanks to Safe TV. Thanks to Brother Dominic. And I will have to see our time is at an end. Thanks to the callers who called in and made their contribution. Right? Thanks to Jalions, Brother Bingai Chugs, Russ Blackman, and Mr. Doga. So I'll see you in the next 2 weeks.
Keep
Thanks
in
to Safe
touch.
TV.